What's up, everyone? It's your boy Norrin Radd 89 here, bringing you another video. Excuse my look. I did work last night, so my face, like I said, I'm pretty tired. I worked last night, graveyards and everything. But today we are gonna do a Radd movie review for Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. This is gonna be a fun one because I have quite a few hot takes with this film. This isn't a film that I hate or anything like that, but I do have quite a few hot takes when it comes to this film, so we're going to discuss it today. Let's get down to it, the positives, negatives, and rating and all that jazz. So let's do it. Roll it. So Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula is for real. This one is one of those ones that came out in 1992. It won 3 Academy Awards for costume design, makeup, and I believe sound mixing or sound design and stuff like that. So it's a film that is highly regarded. This is one of those films when I talk to most people that are vampire fans or just horror fans in general, it's pretty high up there in terms of praise when it comes to Dracula films. But I do have quite a few hot takes when it comes to this film, and I kind of feel like I want to get those out of the way first before we discuss the positives, just so we could kind of break the ice, just end it right away. And in terms of that is going to be negatives right away, is that this is a film that is 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I feel like there's still stuff missing out of it. And when you have a film that's 2 hours and 10 minutes, I should not feel like there's stuff missing. Like, I feel like there's story beats or plot points, or we leap around from point to point, or we leave characters behind and then we spend like 10-15 minutes without these characters and we don't see them anymore. And it's one of those films, like I said, it just feels like it's missing scenes. There's like probably a 4-hour cut of this movie that is a lot better, I would feel, because there's all the information inside of it. But yeah, this film just, I don't feel like it should be like that, because 2 hours and 10 minutes is enough time for a film to breathe. But this film is littered with so many characters and it just doesn't really handle them properly. Another thing is, I feel like some of the cast members in here are highly miscast. One thing is Keanu Reeves. I love you, Keanu, for real. You're a gem. We love you and adore you, but you are highly, highly miscast in this as Jonathan. So that is one huge thing right there, because at this time, Keanu wasn't a fine-tuned, highly trained actor or seasoned actor at this time. He was very young, kind of like hot off the heels of Babes in Toyland, and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, like stuff like that. So he wasn't really a seasoned actor at this time yet, and to cast him as Jonathan was a highly, highly wrong choice. Another one is Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing. Hot take right here, coming from your boy Norrin Radd. You all might hate me. I know some people might click off, but I think Anthony Hopkins is actually a overrated actor. He's really only good for me as the Hannibal Lecter character. That is the only stuff that I love Anthony Hopkins in, is, like I said, the Hannibal Lecter character. Anytime he's in any other movie, I don't really enjoy his character, and I find his Van Helsing character in this film to be a highly, highly huge weak point of this movie. Another thing with this film is that I do get bored. Before we get to the third act, by the time we are about to eclipse and get to the third act and you're in the meat of the story, I'm getting bored with this film. This is a film that takes me a while to get into it, but then when I get into it, I love the authenticity, the costume design, like I said, the period piece setting. There's some good side characters that have good, actual acting and stuff like that, but it's side plots. And then when we get to the third plot, the final plot in the third act, and we're trying to wrap everything up, it just doesn't meet my expectations. And like I said, it feels like a film that is just jumbled up with ideas, and it just has so much in it, and I feel like they did cut a lot out of this film. So I don't know, for me, this has always been a film that I've had a lot of mixed feelings with. So now let's start talking about some positives, though. Like I said, I don't want to completely bash this film or anything like that, but when it comes to positives, I think Gary Oldman does a great job. He is fantastic as Dracula, or like the Vlad the Impaler type character. I think it's really good, and the setup and intro to the story, I love the fucking setup to this film. Like, literally the first 10 minutes of this movie is iconic. I love it. And there are a lot of scenes in this film that just stick with you, because this is a film that I don't return to that often, and I know why after watching it this time. But this is a film that I hadn't seen in probably about, I want to say, like 10 years. So like I said, it's been a minute, and watching it, there's still scenes that I highly, highly remember. Or when Jonathan first like cuts his neck shaving, and then like Dracula, like Gary Oldman turns around and licks the blade, like, you know, behind his back. Like there are just certain scenes and designs of characters that I clearly remember. Even Lucy, I believe it's Lucy, the character, that side character, which does steal the sceneries when it comes to Winona Ryder's storyline. And that's one thing that I hate too, is I love Winona Ryder as Mina. I think she's great in this film, but she is completely a side character. She is not a main character at all to me, because I feel like Gary Oldman, the actress that plays Lucy, and even like some other people, they just steal the scenes and she falls into the wayside. Another negative I have with this film is the Renfield performance. I think this is awful. The Renfield character, I just hate. I hate that character. Cannot stand that character at all. I feel like that is a character that is plucked out of a different film from a different movie, and he's put into this movie. So like I said, this is a film that just has so much kind of holding it back from me praising it as such a highly regarded epic film. Because if I was to describe this to people, you know, like somebody who hasn't seen this film, I would say Bram Stoker's like Dracula right here by Francis Ford Coppola is like the Shakespearean version of this story. It's just highly elevated. It's so dramatic. There's so much performances, so many characters and stuff. And the costume design, here's some positives though, another grouping of positives. The costume designs are great. Like what they did win the Academy Award for, I think they deserved. The makeup, fantastic. Costume designs, out of this world. Even the sound effects and sound mixing, like I said, really good job. But when it comes to the actual story and the way they tackled this film, I feel like it's weak in a lot of areas, because I feel like there's a lot of miscasting and also some characters that I can't stand at all. And by the time we get to the third act, I do feel like I'm a little bored with this film, and I feel like we missed out on some scenes like Jonathan traveling to frickin' Transylvania. It montages so quick and everything, and it's just like it goes by the wayside. Like you don't really have an idea of lapse of time in this film either, where you don't know if it's been a week, 2 weeks, a month. It's very, very unclear. So yeah, this is a huge bag of mixed for me. I do love our gore moments though, and our special effects and practical effects. You got to give it to them there. There's some really cool makeup designs and practical effects and gore moments. And when it comes to a Radd rating for Bram Stoker's Dracula, this is going to get a 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, for me, kind of like slewing it with all those negatives. I know you just heard a bunch of negatives, but I kind of wanted to say that because this is a highly praised film, and I wanted people to kind of just get my perspective and my view and where I'm coming from this film. I mean, I own this movie. See, I still own this film, but for me, any film that's like a 6 or a 10 or a 7 or a, like 10 up, like, you know, I kind of will own those. Anything that's like that, I'll own it, even if it's kind of a bad film. That's just me. But yeah, this is a film that it's not going to be in my top 10. So that's why when we come to the vampire list and we're doing my top 10, I don't want people to freak out, but I wanted to give this film enough respect and actually review it on this channel just solo, like I said, to give it that respect from Francis Ford Coppola, like I said, Gary Oldman, Keanu, Winona, everybody that did put their effort into this film. Like I said, it is an epic film, a very Shakespearean style, you know, level of a Dracula story. But for me, I find the Nosferatu story to just be so much more. It's just so much better. The Nosferatu one that we got from Robert Eggers, it's like this story, but better in so many ways. Thanks for sticking around me all as we talked Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992. Please like the video. That definitely helps out the channel. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Share out these videos and have that notification bell poke so you're notified anytime I drop a video. But most importantly, I want you all to have a safe and happy day. Peace out.